Welcome to class, soulmates. If this is your first time of being here, thank you so much for coming around. Welcome and watch the video to the end. Please do us to subscribe. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. So in this class, we are going to be making a trouser, a free trouser, or what I will call a semi palazzo trouser. Okay, it's going to be free, but not that big. So the hip we're working with, the normal hip is 41, but I'm going to be adding 2 inches to it to make it 43 so that the hip part will not be fitted. We don't want it to be fitted. Okay, it will just have some freeness. So I want to use this paper to illustrate the upper part. I have 3 trousers to cut, and I want to put everything for the upper part on this paper, so we could just place it. The lower parts will not be difficult. Just place it and cut. Okay, so the waistline will not be used. We're going to use only the hip line to get the crotch and all that. Now, like I said, we're using 43 instead of 41. So 43 divided by 4 to get the crotch length is going to give us 10.75. I will not reduce it. I'm not going to add to it either. So I'm going to measure this 10.75 to form a box like so. I'll equally measure it at the upper part, 10.75, to get another box, another line to form a box. Okay, so I'm going to rule it this way. This is 10.75, and I'm going to connect it this way. Okay, now on this is our crotch line. We want to get the crotch extension, and I'm going to be marking 2.25. Okay, we can do hip line divided by 20, whatever it gives us. That is what we are going to be marking here. Now at this part, we're going to slant it by 1 inch. Now one thing I forgot to tell us, which is not late, I'm going to add it when I'm cutting on the fabric, is that this trouser is going to have a rope. Okay, the trouser is going to have a rope, and that means we're going to have extension of 2 inches at the upper part, right? But it's not late, we're going to do it when we are cutting on the fabric. So I'm going to get my curve and connect it to the midpoint of this line. From here, I'm going to connect it this way. Or to make it easier for us to understand, I'll come up by 2.25 and go out by 0.25, so that it will form a guide to know how we're going to connect this line, like so. Okay, so you'll not say you don't know how to connect it. And this is how I connected it. Now this part is not going to be slanted. Like I said, it's going to have a rope, so everything will go straight. So you can see that this is just a very simple, straightforward trouser. I want to get the midpoint of this. I will use my tape and divide it into 2, like so. So when I place it on the fabric, all I will have to do is just to measure it and mark. I hope this paper is on a straight line. So I'll just measure it to get the center line, so that we'll balance our measurements and the lower part and connect it to this point. So this is for the basically for the front. We are going to get the back side. I'm going to come in here by half an inch. From the top is about 17 inches, almost 17 inches. I just want to make a slight curve here. I don't want this to have so much shape, so I'll just use my curve to connect it half inch. The 17 inches is not up to the knee line. Okay, I'll just curve it this way, and here I'll make a very slight curve. We also want to put the thigh into consideration. The thigh is about 25 inches, and and of course this part is lower than the side is around here. Okay, and it's more than 25 inches, and of course the back is going to be adding to the measurement. So I will cut this out, place it on another paper to cut the back side. So I've placed on another paper to draft the back side. Okay, so from this part, the CF, I'm going to go up by 2 inches. So the back can be longer than the front. Okay, so I'll connect it this way. I'll connect it to this side to meet with the front. Then coming to this side, I'm going to go out by 1 inch. I don't want the back to be fitted, and that's why I'm adding 1 inch extra to it. Okay, so I'll mark it to meet up with this 2 inches that we have here. I'll follow the same line and mark it. Now for the crotch extension, from this line you can go out by 4 inches or 4.2 inches, because it's going to be ×2 of what we already have. But because I want it to be longer, I went out from what I already have by 2 inches. Okay, and I'm going to be connecting it using my curve this way. From this, I'm going to connect it to meet with the 1 inch that I have marked already. And this is what we have. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, this side is just the same. Okay, I did not add anything by the side. I'm only going to add half an inch extra to the back when I'm cutting on the fabric, and I'll go out by this side by 1 inch and connect it from this point. I hope it is seen, like so. So basically this is what we need at the upper part to connect our trousers. So I'm just going to cut it out, then place it on the fabric and we cut. So I'm going to put it out and then place it on the fabric that I want to use and cut. So I've placed it on the fabric. I added 2 inches at the top, following the paper, 2 inches at the top. This will serve as our rope allowance. Okay, so from where the paper actually is, I'm going to measure the length of the fabric of the trouser that we're making. It is 44 inches, right? So I'm going to mark this 44 here. This 44 is including 2 inches allowance for folding, right? And then following this line here, I got the midpoint, right? So I'm going to mark the midpoint down to where the measurement stops, the length of the trouser. So I'm going to add my seam allowance of 1 inch from this side. I'll mark it down, 1 inch seam allowance. I'm going to follow this shape of this paper and mark 1 inch seam allowance. On this side, I'm going to be adding half an inch seam allowance. Half an inch seam allowance. Then coming to the side, I want the width of this the ankle to be 20 inches. So from this center, I'm going to measure 5 inches this way, 5 inch that way. Okay, I will mark. And then on this side, that was adding 1 inch seam allowance. I'm also going to add the 1 inch seam allowance this way and add half an inch seam allowance this way. And then I'm going to connect it to this line that I have been marking. Connecting it to the half an inch seam allowance. And on this part also, I'm going to be connecting it to the 1 inch seam allowance. Okay, so basically that's what we'll be doing. I want to connect this part too. I'm going to use my scissors to cut it out. So I've finished cutting. I'm going to place the back and cut as well. So this is the back side. The same thing I did to the front, that is what I did here. The difference is that the back is wider than the front. I added extra inches. Of course, from the paper it is wider than the front. Okay, but I added another half an inch at the lower part on this part so that it will be wider. The front and back are not supposed to be the same, but because this is a wide trouser, it doesn't matter if the back is bigger at the bottom or not. So I'm just going to cut it. It's not supposed to be quite bigger so that it doesn't dangle to the front part. Okay, so this is what we have for the back side. The next thing we're going to do, the only thing we're going to do is to attach a pocket because the client needs a pocket, right? And the way to attach this pocket, I've made illustration to it in another video. Attaching pockets on a trouser that has um, rope, that is native trouser, right? So I'm going to leave the link to that pocket making in the comment section or in the description box. So basically all I'm going to do is to join this part, okay, join the front and attach the pocket. Now, on another note, you can actually use your actual measurement without attaching any other allowance to it. And then to make the lower parts wide, you could just start from the hip line, from the crotch extension, and take it straight down. That's how a palazzo should be. But in this case, I wanted something a bit slimmer, not so wide, but then not as small. Okay, so you just take it down, and if you want to slant it a bit, you can still slant it. I hope this is clear. Thank you for watching. Bye.